Hi, my name is Jenny.
And my name's Eury.
And welcome again to the Conscious Cuppa podcast, Season 4, Episode 12, Penultimate episode, where we're still exploring the Divine Feminine.
If you've never heard of the term Divine Feminine, you're not alone. Well, you probably have, because we're on Episode 12. Curious about what she has to do with creating your reality, realising your dreams, and being and having what you do want? Then stay tuned to find out more.
Eury, what if I need something done by tomorrow?
She makes arrangements and rearrangements in the blink of an eye, Jenny.
Is there anything she can't produce?
There's only one way to find out, Jenny. Test her and see what she weaves from what you provide.
What if I just can't see how things could possibly work out?
Her infinite intelligence outmatches any obstacle and perfectly outpictures your fulfilled desire.
Okay, so who is she really?
Here's a taste of what our fabulous guests had to say about what the Divine Feminine means to them.
A mother.
Swirly figure in the air.
Fertility goddess.
For me, the divine energy, I will then say the divine energy is unconditional love that is comes from within us, but we are all representations of the whole.
Non-confrontational.
I guess I think about me, myself.
I think the first expressions of human creativity are depicting the divine feminine.
Protection.
The energy that crosses us all.
Glow.
And I think about kind of across the world.
Cooling, enabling space that's always there, but also can be very stormy and powerful.
We made this podcast to big up this overlooked, underappreciated, infinitely intelligent divine mind who resides in all of us. So
grab a brew, take a pew, and let's give the Divine Feminine her due.
What have we got in our glasses today?
Well, the lovely Jenny has brought 100% pomegranate. It's called POM, and it's a wonderful antioxidant. And this is inspired by one of our guests on the show, Balarama. We were on a boat trip in Turkey and had homemade pomegranate juice. Oh my goodness.
That was the beginning of this love affair. This is one of my favourite drinks of all time, it has to be said. So it's a really lovely alternative for people who don't drink to put it in a red wine glass.
Yes.
And give themselves, at the dinner table, something that looks like what everybody else is drinking. It's gorgeous. A bit more cloudy, I think, than red wine, but it's got that
deep red.
What I was going to say, it's got the strength, the same strength.
Yes.
The same boom pow.
Yes.
As red wine. Or actually the juices that we had recently.
Yes.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that brings back memories.
Oh, wow. That's got a really good tang.
Yeah.
Plus it's sweet. I just want to down it in one. It's delicious. We hope you've got something wonderful in your cup, in your glass, in your flask.
Get kettle on.
Fancy a brew, huh?
Not just any brew.
I think I know what you need.
Conscious Cuppa, babe.
So this is what we do. We asked 30 people to pick from 13 lollipop sticks and gave them 5 minutes to talk about the subject written on the stick. This episode, I'll be talking for the second time about transformation and big changes.
And you'll be hearing from Melissa, Balarama, Alison and Mandy.
Midway through the interviews, we'll be sharing a golden nugget from Neville Goddard's book, Feeling is the Secret.
Let's press play. Okay, You alright? You good to go?
We're going to shake that. It's the shake.
Yeah.
Shake it.
I like the sound it makes when it shakes.
It's nice, isn't it?
Cool. And we'll just go for that then. So what have we got here? Big changes, maybe I'll go for. You okay with that? Yeah, big changes, I think. So what it means to me, I feel like this one is calling me more because I guess I'm thinking about my life now or how it's been for a while since 2017, since I qualified and since I made that big career change. And I think from then or around then, that's the point where I've started to really kind of think about how I want my life to be and what I want from my life and how I want it to look and the things I want to change, I guess. Yeah. And I would say that the things that I am thinking about are big as well. They're quite big. There are a number of big changes that I'd like to see happen and would like to manifest or, bring about in my life. I think one of the things definitely that is constantly sort of tapping on me is to grow financially, to become, I guess, more financially stable. Yeah, to generate more money in my life. So, yeah, when I saw this, that's what kind of came to my mind. The first thing that was sort of there was around making this big change in my life in terms of financially. And it has been and is an ongoing thing that has been travelling with me now for some time. Definitely, a good sort of 10 years. Yeah. And yeah, that in itself is a process and how I manage myself in terms of thinking about how that might come about and the different ways and the different energy and the different thoughts and things that I bring in to kind of open that portal. Yeah. Big change, one of the big changes. Yeah.
What have we got?
Big changes. Transformation. We can take that as one.
You ready?
Yeah.
5 minutes starts now.
Go ahead. Yeah. Big changes is such a wonderful and incredible thing of life and part of life. And if you're not making big changes in your life and experiencing these things, you're really kind of, unfortunately, wasting your time. There's many different kind of big changes you can make, but really the big change we want to make is to come to the platform where we're experiencing eternal, unending, spiritual bliss. Because ultimately that's what we're really interested in. We're really, if you dig at yourself and everyone around you, they'll have this word that I just want to be happy. I want to be happy. So, and we've all experienced a different kind of happiness that people have around us and within ourselves, kind of, let's call it material happiness. And it doesn't satisfy. We're still frustrated. We're still unsatisfied and kind of incomplete. We experience that. So the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and Krishna consciousness coming into my life, or let's say, actually, in one sense, the supreme feminine form of God, Srimati Radharani, in her form as the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, actually also came into my life in 1994. And this has been, and is continuing to be the biggest source of change, big change. And when I say change, I mean in shifting from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. And it's been a revolution, actually. It's been more than change. It's been a revolution in my life where truly my connection, my understanding of God himself, God's feminine form, and their relationship together has just become sort of everything to me. And kind of material stuff, temporary stuff, stuff that dies, stuff that has no absolute nature, has become kind of almost non-existent. It's just fallen to the wayside and no interest really. And this is actually a glorification of the potency of the supreme female form of God, that by her presence and her example, somebody as stupid and as mundane as me can go from being really just nothing worth on this planet, you know, piece of shit, piece of poop or whatever that is on this planet, and become a jewel. And I'm trying not to say that with any kind of ego. It's like the jewel is actually nothing to do with me impressing somebody else or me having a name and a fame, because I'm not that anyway. It's just she has helped me become a jewel, and that jewel has become a jewel because she's shown me and teaching me how to please and serve her master, her beloved, which is Krishna. And when you do that, you begin to feel your spiritual self, and you begin to feel spiritual bliss, and you begin to feel and experience spiritual love that is much, much higher than anything you've ever experienced in the material world. And therefore, at the same time, we get this change or this movement from loving something lower, loving something material, loving something temporary, loving something that's really a kind of business exchange, to loving something that is pure and unconditional. So that change of shifting from loving something which is a business deal to loving something which is pure love, where you love someone, you know, you're trying to do it unconditionally without conditions, but definitely from their side, God, in his both male and female form, are loving you without conditions, unconditionally. That is the most beautiful and the biggest change anyone can ever experience in their life.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It's time for a Neville Nugget.
Which number would you like, Jenny? 2 or 9?
I will have 2, please.
Do not waste one moment in regret, for to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself. Feeling a state produces that state.
Oh, that's our biggie. Individually
Short,
and collectively.
but big.
On with the podcast.
When I get thirsty, I listen to Conscious Cuppa.
I'm going to go with transformation, because transformation is slightly different from big changes, isn't it? You could go through a transformation without an apparent big change. You could. So what do I think about that? And I'm still thinking about the divine feminine. I'm still thinking about Mother Nature, because I think about her all the time.
Yeah.
I think about her all the time, every day. Every day. This isn't necessarily about me, probably will end up being about me at some point. Think about the transformations that we can see around us in everyday life. They're just extraordinary, right? So in the corner there by my radiator, you might not want to hear this, but there's a really massive spider who's living there. I haven't seen her for a while, but she does live over there. I did take her web down because it was getting a bit massive, so she might be sulking somewhere. Anyway, at some point, I didn't have the heart to escort her out because it seems like it's a bit cold out. But at some point, I will come across this like ball of web, spider web, with all the eggs in. That will just sit there. It'll probably be a light orangey colour, maybe the size of a big pea or the size of a chickpea. She was a big woman. And at some point, all that little cluster of eggs will turn into, hundreds of spiderlings. I hope I find it before this happens, because then if you've got hundreds of spiderlings, you're just like, well, I don't want to kill them, but I can't have 100 spiders in my house. But that one transformation is mind-blowing, isn't it? It's absolutely mind-blowing. You've just got this spider, there she is. I don't know how, I have seen spider courtship, which looks pretty tentative, let me say. Anyway, I might go into that later. But somehow or another, these eggs have been fertilised and they've been put in this little silk cocoon, and then they will become spiders, which just blows my mind. It blows my mind that might happen. And so bizarrely, I guess, we're in a constant state of transformation. Everything is in a constant state of transformation. So these little spiders are growing somewhere over there by my radiator, I'm sure. Although this spider plant, the common theme of the spider, has been here for quite a long time, but it's continually growing and changing. And at some point there'll be some new plants coming. We are constantly transforming. We're transforming the air into our bodies, and then our bodies are giving the air back, and that will be changed and transformed into something else. So it's really amazing that as we're in this, that our constant is transformation, which is extremely exciting, isn't it? Really exciting.
Yes.
That'll do me.
Got a minute and a half if you want to talk about anything else.
Yeah, I'll do some big changes. Yeah, I started off thinking about transformation as something just fundamental and constant. But when I think about big changes, it makes me think about the physical changes that we go through, as I'm thinking about as humans. Do you go through some really big, momentous physical changes, which, but God, we have to sort of ride them, don't we? I'm thinking about the change of, being in utero and then being born, or being adolescent as a girl, getting your first period. Oh my God, what a change. And then, me at my age, changing from being someone who has periods to who doesn't anymore, and that new phase, that's a big change. The change is a big change because it takes you into this whole new sort of way of being as a woman that isn't really talked about. We don't really hear about this big change into the much quieter hormonal life. That's a big change and a difficult one, I think, for some to go through. I don't find it so hard, but a difficult one to go through. It's great along the other side of it, I think. I think of big changes as being maybe more physical, and then we have our big change at the end when we die, and what that might result in, what we'll change into. Then we can go into transformation, can't we?
Thank you.
For me, big changes represents when I kind of recognise, when you kind of look at why you're actually here on this planet. What's my purpose here? And you realise you're not just here to get up, go to work and come back, watch Coronation Street. It's bigger than that. So that was a really big, massive, and I can say transformation at the same time, because the moment you realise that your purpose here, you got to start looking at everything that you do. And back then, it was around about 1997, 98, when I picked up a certain book, Ayanna Vincent, a book that had daily readings and affirmations in there. And it just kind of made you stop and think like, okay, there's a purpose here and we're here. And then I realised we're here to we're kind of interpretation of the universe or God knowing what itself. Okay, so that's big. That's a big change, because it's like you got to kind of look at your interactions with people every day. Also, you've got to change the habits that you've just had for however old you are when you discover this, like 40 something year. If, for me, it was 2000. So, in my 30s, that all that stuff that was a habit of doing, I had to unchange that. Big changes again. So you're kind of looking back and thinking, right, that's a habit that I now have to try and undo, maybe in a shorter amount of time. It's big change. And then also when you realise that a lot of people around you are not going through your transformation that's happening to you. They're still, the term I always use is, they're on the platform still. The train, they haven't got on the train yet. They're still on the platform. It's not their time to get that train yet. So they can look at you and think, oh, you've changed. You're a different type of person, but not actually understanding the transformation that I'm going through. That's something that you have to deal with as well. Yeah, and big changes are happening all the time because we know that the only constant is change, right? It's the only constant is change in where we are on this plane. So, and I think I have transformed. My transformation has been taking place and it's very slow because like what I said earlier, it's a day by day thing and I've got to try and be in the now and do stuff in the now. So it's a daily thing that you have to be aware of that it's happening, but be conscious that and aware that you have to keep with these things and make that a habit. Not like the old habits, it's a new habit. Yeah, transformation.
You're listening to Jenny and Eury on Conscious Cuppa.
So we just heard from Melissa, Balarama, Alison and Mandy B, for the second part of Big Changes and Transformation. What did you take away from what they were
Well, I
telling
wanted
us?
to go back to last episode and just kind of recap, really. I love the acronym that you came up with, Jenny, transforming, natural transitions and takes time. And
TNT.
Yeah, TNT. The Divine Feminine is the bringer of big change. That's a massive part of her role. Yeah, so like Mandy was saying, that there are different changes also that you have in your life. So you go through these transitions, this coming of age, and you're kind of called out of a state of childhood into a state of young adult, out of a state, etc., etc. I think with this comes an opportunity to grow your awareness. So we're not the same as we were when we were children, although that child lives within us, and there are other desires that we have as we change. And I think we have physical desires, we have mental desires, we have emotional desires. I believe the highest desires have is a spiritual desire, something that Balarama was talking about. Mm-hmm. Perhaps when we are called into the desire of bliss, so we want happiness in our lives, like he was talking about. Uh-huh. What I understand is there's a mirror here. It's almost like this is the lifeblood of the Divine Feminine. It's to feel bliss, to feel ecstasy, to feel orgasmic. And so this is what brings these big changes about, to feel this. And then it comes back later on. When it manifests, it ripples back to you. So it's like a call and answer.
So just to be clear, it's not that you can't desire something that is material.
No,
and
you
that
can.
She takes care of that.
Yeah.
For somebody who has experienced themselves in poverty, who desires to have the ease, let's say, that comes with financial freedom.
Yes.
She can produce that.
So Melissa was talking about sort of having more financial freedom. Obviously, yes, of course. And it's not that one exists without the other, but it just becomes more holistic. So the financial freedom you might desire may be because there's bliss attached to it.
Yeah, I guess it's important to recognise that whatever we're going to do with this Divine Feminine, in terms of what we want to manifest, whether it's courage or a car, the recognition, which we'll talk about more in the last episode, where we reap the benefits, where we recognise our harvest, that's the important bit. It's actually not the material thing that you're going to get or experience, but the recognition, I did this through my divine mind, through this infinite intelligence, who brought me this thing, wove it together in a way that I couldn't possibly have done with my conscious mind. That makes the whole thing spiritual if you can get to this number 13 where you recognise your harvest.
Yeah, absolutely, Jenny. And I think this is what I was saying about the mirror, that by embracing these big changes, so when they begin to happen and when the steps of incidence start happening, then to know that you're being changed. It's not just outside. You're not just attracting this car, or what was the other thing you said, Jenny?
Courage,
yeah. So it's not whether you're attracting the car or the courage, Jenny, but I feel like the thing that is really going to have a big change is your self-concept, the person you believe yourself to be, and this is the holistic nature of it. Like, I love it. No matter what you've imagined, this big change is coming about, and you become a more amazing person for it. So I love that. The more I imagine and the more I reap my harvest, the more I feel compelled to imagine, but not just for me, for others. But that transforms me. I have no idea. Like we were saying last episode, we don't know how. We don't know the steps of instance, but what we do know is we will be transformed.
So that's about trust. Yeah. Alison was talking about how it blows her mind, how this spider is weaving not just this massive web that has to be cleared out every so often, but the babies. The babies and these two, by the hundreds.
Yeah, these two things, the weaving of your new world and your new concept, so you're being transformed, but also this pregnancy and this giving birth, this is very much about the divine feminine.
Yeah.
She's weaving your new state. She's weaving the thing that you said, this gift that you've been given of this desire that you do want. Mandy was really reinforcing the purpose to know yourself. Know thyself. I really like that. But we're being given the opportunity to know ourselves more holistically, so not just as a physical being.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the steps of incidence? That's going to cross over into next episode when we actually meet our harvest. But at this point, we're starting to see clues, and intuition is starting to lead us towards the new state that we're going to be occupying, or the new thing that we're going to be experiencing.
Yeah, it's making me smile. As soon as you're saying that, Jenny, it's really making me smile, because I have experienced this so often. I thought of somebody just yesterday, and then my desire was to know how he was doing. And then I met him, and he had such good news to tell me.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. But I didn't know that it was going to be today. I didn't know that it was going to be where I met him in the barbers. It was a true surprise. So yeah, this synchronicity that comes about, and it really happens out of the blue. I have the thought, then I was not it's not somewhere I usually go. I'm not a man. I don't usually go to the barbers. And then I find myself in the barbers, and I don't even notice him at first. And then out of the corner of my eye, there I see my friend sitting. And yeah, it's quite wonderful and miraculous. So these things do really, you're drawn into. So really listen to your intuition.
It's magnetising the event, the experience, the object, the person to you. You've already met in your imagination, so now you have to meet in the material world.
Yeah, definitely. And I think because this transformation is coming and it comes out of the blue, you're really being asked to trust and make new choices when you're compelled to do so. So instead of going left, go right. When someone invites you that you might not have, but
you
might
go to the barbers. You know, it's like, why am I going to a barber's? I should be going to a hairdresser's. Yeah. Or why that barber's and not the 10 other barbers on High Street. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just trusting.
A little book that I read that really helps me understand this synchronicity and this energy was a Celestine prophecy. That really got me to understand.
We've had this book mentioned on the the previous seasons.
We are really allowing ourselves to move on a different path here.
Well, Melissa talked about opening the portal.
Yes. I really like the idea that at different stages I'm embodying different energies and I can lean into the courage of that. And it can be a little bit scary to go, to be compelled to do different things, to eat something, to turn left and not right. But that faith and trust you spoke about is really what holds you in good stead, that you know what's coming. You do know the harvest.
Yeah, I guess one of the things here then is practice, because with practice, you have had enough experiences that let you know this works. This works. It's not just trusting the process, it's trusting that what is small and what is big are the same to the divine feminine.
Yeah, this came up with Melissa for me as well, what she was saying about something's really big, you know. And when I started this practice, and I think you did as well, Jenny, we did an exercise with a ball.
Yeah.
So imagine it, just sit and imagine holding a ball, you know, the weight, the size,
texture,
practicing that over and over again until you really feel like you're holding this ball.
Yeah.
And then that's such a simple way.
Yeah, it's a small thing.
Yeah, and it's got no consequences other than you'll be changed, because when you find the ball, you'll feel really amazing.
Yes, exactly. So again, it goes back to, it doesn't really matter what you want to use this practice for, this process for. What's important is you're recognising, I did that.
Yes.
And now I can do it with the ball, I can do it with money, I can do it with courage, I can do it with spiritual opening. So
yes.
It doesn't matter what it's for, it's the recognition that
you're doing it.
This experience, this whole experience, is there to teach me that all of this infinite intelligence is within me. And there are certain processes that have to be in place for that to work, but that's what it's teaching you, from the ball to the job, to the partner, to courage, strength, peace
bliss
of mind,
yeah.
and so on and so forth. All of those.
Yeah. So Jenny, what's your acronym?
Well, I've got a couple of bobs.
I like it. Who are your bobs?
Becoming a jewel.
Mm.
Open that portal. Bigger than material purposes. Bigger than your material habits. That's one bob. The second bob is blow your mind. The only constant is change. The only is the O in that. And be like that spider and birth hundreds through your practice of wonderful changes in not just your own life, but the lives of people around you.
I like your couple of bobs. I'd like to go out for a drink with a couple of bobs. They would be good bobs to go out with.
And bob is money as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What have you gleaned from our guest this week?
So I gleaned from Alison about this is extraordinary. It really is. And I think if we can lean into the extraordinary, that from the ball to the courage, you can have anything your heart desires. That leans into the big and the small of Melissa, that there's nothing so big, but you can start small. It's fine. To the bliss of Balarama, how wonderful it is to have bliss in your life. That encourages me to practice that feeling of bliss. When did I have that feeling, and can I evoke it to use this practice? Mandy suggests that I do that for knowing myself. And I take that on, Mandy. I love that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, our guests. And that's it for this episode.
Yes, short and sweet.
Short and sweet. This has been a swell sip, a beautiful blend, and a terrific tipple. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next episode, which is the last of the episodes.
And what have we got for the next episode? We've got
a combination episode. We have Reaping the Benefits or Happy Endings as the stick. And we have the second episode of Compassion, or second part to Compassion, which was the very first episode that we did. So we're going to be rounding everything up in this lovely, cosy, furry blanket of compassion, which is so needed right now.
Yes.
Yeah. You can make contact with us, obviously. Here's Nina.
You can send in your questions and suggestions to consciouscuppa@gmail.com. That's CONSCIOUSCUPPA@gmail.com.
Thank you very much, and wait till the very end of the episode because
there's Easter egg Women of the Bible.
That's the one. See you next time.
See you next time. So I'm holding the sticks behind my back.
We've only got 2 left.
Which one would you like, Jenny? Left or right?
Left or right? I have to take the left, surely.
Take the left. Take the high road.
Rebecca. Rebecca, who is a cow or an ensnarer.
Moo.
From Genesis 24, knows how to captivate, ensures success of what is most loved. Knows how to captivate, ensures success of what is most loved. Well, that kind of ties in with the captivating, the spider. Ensures success of what is most loved. That's all our children of what is being woven into the world.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Yep.
Cow.
Moo.